Hi guys, I'm Doggone and welcome back to the Utopia Baseball League. Today is Saturday, November 16th, 2019. And we haven't had an update in quite a while. A lot of crazy stuff going on here in Oklahoma City, but not to mention today's storms, which just came through and knocked out power and crashed my game and everything. But everything came back up fine, and yeah, it's pretty cool. When the game first loaded up, after the crash to desktop, actually, my computer lost power, and so it all just died. When my game came back up, I was OU, and I had OU's homepage, so I kind of tried to creep around on it best I could and see if I could see anything, but I couldn't see shit, so screw that. Dadgummit. Well, 2019 was a good year for Key West. We started very, very slow. Really, I just started this video to talk to you about the trade we just made and give you a little bit more. It's not as one-sided, I think. Just like my last trade with Yankee, he's looking farther down the road than I am. And I traded him some pitchers that you guys in the ENE really dissed, but they have come on really good. I know how to draft pitchers. I'm not very good at hitters, but I sure as heck know how to draft pitchers. And Yankee, he got a couple of good ones. So anyway, and this last time, he got a third baseman, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Let's take a look, quick retrospective on 2019. We started off really slow. In fact, April, we were about 500. In May, we had a little bit better than 500 spring training. In April, we were about 500. In May, we slipped to 12-18. We played 6 games under 500 in May. Injuries played a big part in our year. Jerry Armstrong was injured much of the year. We had several pitchers go out. Fortunately, Roger Green kept getting little tic-tac injuries and crap like he always does. Fortunately, the in-season injuries after spring training were pretty much mild, and they resolved quickly within, I think the worst was like 6 weeks. I think that was Armstrong's. I really didn't know what to expect. Louisville made a strong showing in the early year. In fact, let's go take a quick look back. 16-13 in April, and then he also had a 12-18 May. Louisville was basically in front of us until June, and at that point the Flying Gookstas completely lost it, and they came back to have a decent, even August, but that was pretty much in, like in garbage time. Who am I again? Key West. Yeah, we had an outstanding June. We really got our act together in June. July was so-so, but August we put the pedal down again. And we pretty much cruised thanks to my fellow Big Easy colleagues. Well, in Nashville's case, it was thanks to their injuries, their unfortunate injuries. They lost like 3 pitchers early in the year, 2 of their starting rotation and stuff. It was pretty bad. Pretty bad spring for them. Louisville was really not focused on 2019. They were focused maybe another year or two, maybe 2021. Charleston also was kind of strong early in the year, April. No, they weren't. I'll take it back. It must have been spring I was thinking about. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to troll or anything like that. I just remember Charleston being stronger early. Maybe it was 2018 I was thinking about. But yeah, so after about June, we took care of the division, and I was really happy to win another divisional title. Kind of didn't have my head in the game most of the year. During the previous postseason, the 2018 postseason, I was traveling. I was on the road to Gatlinburg, and we had a lot of drama happen during that trip, and things have not been the same since then. And anyway, we did not do too well in the 2018 playoffs. We won the Lambship, but did not do too well in the league East League Championship. In 2019, I was hoping that we would go farther. I was hoping to win the Eastern League, of course, and we beat Richmond in the Lambship. And I'll tell you, Rad, I posted on the forums. Here's why we beat you in the Lambship. You couldn't hit left-handed pitching, and I exploited that. I started big head Todd Carpenter. You couldn't handle him. I brought Mario Nunez back from the grave. You couldn't handle him, and that's how we beat you. So, if you work on your batting against left-handed pitchers, that will fix the only real weakness that I saw in your team last year. So I know you've been doing lots of things to try and plug perceived holes, but it was really your batting against left-handed pitching that did you in, at least in the Lambship against me. In the East League Championship, I tell you what, the Madison Favres, I had nothing for them. They countered everything. They have no weaknesses. They can run, they can hit righty, can hit lefties, they can field well enough, although fielding was their downfall in the first or second game of the series. Tommy Morrison made an error in that game that eventually allowed the winning, what became the winning run to score. But other than that, it was a good series, and I really didn't detect any hitting weaknesses they had. I couldn't come up with any creative lineups to counter what they threw. So yeah, it was a good series, a 7-game series with Madison, probably one for the record books. What did we go to, the 12th inning or the 13th inning or something like that? It was ridiculous. And I couldn't even watch it. I had to go outside and mow the grass and hope to hell it was over by the time I got back in. So it wasn't, but I did a good job of ignoring it as best I could, and drinking some sedative tea. Key West this year, we had a kind of an unusual year. So we went to we took Madison to the brink in the East-Northeast, and as usual, we came away the bridesmaid. We didn't make it to the big dance yet again, and that was. That hurt, but I'm very glad to be competitive year in and year out. I really enjoy the competitiveness. I'd rather be competitive all the time than to go through the boom bust cycle. And I know a lot of you guys don't do it intentionally. It just kind of happens. But yeah, I have been trying to set contracts to where I can compete year in and year out. And early in my tenure at Key West, I had to make a lot of tough decisions about not bidding on some guys and letting some guys go and not drafting some guys. So Monk was one of the guys I could have drafted with that 1-2 pick I had. I think it was in 2015 or something like that. And I said I went after Gonzo because Gonzo was cheap. He was asking for the for the base. And anyway, I had to really play the budget game early on, and was very happy to be winning, even playing the budget game. Now my budget is fine. My budget is good, and I can make big contracts for guys. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, kind of an unusual year for us. Pitching, our bullpen ERA was tops, in part thanks to Manuel Cruz control, who has become a really dominant closer. I've been hating to say that, but he is. He's been a dominant closer the past 2 years. Not at all what I expected. I had him planned out as a setup or top middle relief guy, but he's really emerged as a dominant closer. A starter's ERA, though, third in the East League. We were not number one or number two. I think Richmond was best and Madison was second. Yeah, we were not number one on the pitching side in all the categories like we normally are. We were number one in home runs allowed, and that's still by design. I tend to sign guys with high movement ratings. I pick movement over control. That often means a guy won't go late into a game because he doesn't have the control to throw few pitches, but, you pick your poison right. This is another change for us, strikeouts. I've never been big on stuff, but we had a lot of strikeouts this year. Defense was good, very good. Walks were out of control. We were giving up way too many walks. Maybe my emphasis on my de-emphasis of control went too far. Batting, our batting in 2018 was phenomenal. It was led by Sir James Dalton. This year we sucked. We sucked out of the gate. We sucked throughout the season. Some guys finally finished with a decent average. I think Roger Green finished about 300, 302. But for the most part, we could get on base. Oh, yeah, we get on base. We number 2 in the league in walks. And we could hit some taters too. But we just didn't put it all together like we needed to. And we did have one stolen base. I believe that was Dalton, and I fined him $25,000 for that. Let's see. Nothing really we need to talk about here. Batting leaders, pitching leaders. Matthew Canio had he led us in batting average with a 274 average. Heck, let's just go to the roster here and batting stats and average. Here we go by average. Roger Green actually led us in batting average, 301. I guess he didn't have enough at-bats. Where's Canio? 471 at-bats? Yeah. Maybe 400 were required. I don't know. Green led us in average last year at 301. Jerry Armstrong hit 297. He missed 6 weeks, though, and that really kind of kept us flat. Tom Wilson, he was injured as well and missed a lot of the year. You see, he only played in 18 games. Part of that was because I had to send him down. I just didn't have room for him on my roster. Flint Townsend was a big surprise to us this year. Our catcher, rookie. Actually, I think he played on our big league roster last year. Anyway, he look at that, 285. I started off hitting him against lefties only, platoon bat, and relieving Mark Combs. But look at this. You see Townsend ended up with 267 at-bats versus Combs' 409. Townsend got a bunch of at-bats. Now, he got some at-bats at first base, as did Combs. These guys were often subbed in at first base. So Townsend really excelled this past year. It was a surprise. He had a year that was farther of a good year than I expected. Russ McLean was our offensive story for 2019. He finally did what his ratings had been saying he would do. He was over 300 most of the year. He finished the year with 282, .901 OPS. He was right near the top of our OPS. I think only Tom Wilson was better, and that was with small sample size. So Russ McLean really did it for us. 18 taters for us this year to lead us in home runs. McLean was a one-man force for us, and he got us through the tough start of the year. Armstrong, 15 taters. Green, 15 taters. But Green's problem, look at this, 87 strikeouts. It's really strange how Green changed from being a contact type hitter to with a low strikeout rating to having a high strikeout rating. But 15 taters. Ramiro Gomez did not have a great year. 13 taters. Jose Torres is a recent acquisition. I'll talk about him in just a second. Mark Combs had a down year, hitting 257, 318, 391. 391 slugging for Combs. That really doesn't get it. James Dalton. He stole the base. That's right. I had to find his ass. So Combs had a down year. And into the void burst Flint Townsend. Where did Flint go? Flint? Here you go. Flint Townsend. Townsend hit for contact. He did not hit for a whole lot of power, but he hit for great contact. He did hit doubles. He's got great gap power. In fact, almost the best gap power on the team. But he can't hit the ball out of the park. But that's okay. Margarita Field is good for doubles and triples and whatnot. He doesn't have the speed to stretch a double to a triple, but he can sure make it to second base. So, yeah. So we had good power, and this is what I like to see. I like to see 8 guys, actually 7 guys, scratch Torres out of the list, 7 guys with double-digit home runs. I like to spread see that spread out like that, especially in a big field like Margarita Field. So let's see, who else? Canio really started out slow. In fact, he was down in AAA. Was it last year or part of this year? 129 games. He must not have been down very much this year, but I don't think I brought him up to the UBL until Armstrong got hurt back around April or May or something. So anyway, Canio did finish up with a strong year, 274, 349, 382. But he's got that old Margarita Field disease, much like our outfielder. Where is he? Where is he on this list? I don't see him. Where's he at? Oh, Rodney Duncan. There he is. Duncan, he was going to be all-world, and something just happened. He sustained a couple of injuries, and his ratings just fell out of the... Look at this. 168 at-bats, and he hit 167. He just completely... His ratings haven't fallen that far, but he just completely fell out of our playing time with us. Maybe I just didn't give him enough at-bats to recover. I don't know. Barry Cummings... again, a great bat off the bench. Hit 262. He had another fine year. Not the amazing year he had in 2018, but it was a fine year. Havoc Gonzalez had a really good year. I'll take 255 from him any day of the week, 782 OPS. Havoc hit 10 home runs for us. A good left-handed outfield bat off the bench, and Havoc plays all the outfield spots really well. Gomez had a down year, 254, but he still hit 13 taters. Dalton had a really down year, 251. He was close to 400 and over 400 most of last year. This year, he was human, 251, 716 OPS, and a stolen base. He did end the year hot. He got hot. Kai-Shek Fa is a guy that I found in free agency, and he only played in a few games for us, only got one hit. He's stashed basically down in Little Rock in case we need him. Robbie Williams, I brought him up this year, and basically Frank Schmidt, John Hickey, second baseman, don't have the flexibility that Williams has got. Williams can play shortstop a bit too, and so anyway, he just looked like a much better rounded hitter, and I thought I'd go ahead and bring him up in 2019 and get him some reps and see what he could do. And he did okay, 241, 294, 382. He's still got a lot of room to grow in OBP. I'm really not happy with a sub 300 OBP at all. I like for all my guys to have at least a 320 OBP. But it was kind of that kind of year for us. Juan Lopez is currently entering the last year of a contract extension. And for our veteran, the guy who's been with our team for decades, it seems like, he was a charter member of the Chattanooga Chaos. That sounds like a jacket patch, doesn't it? Charter member, Chattanooga Chaos. But you can see he played in plenty of games. He hit 220. He hit some home runs. He's got power still, 11 home runs, but he just had a really down year. 2020 is the final year of his contract. Went ahead and exercised the team option instead of releasing him because I thought he still has it in him. Yeah, it may be a mistake. I'm not sure I'll exercise that option again. Same with Ramiro Gomez, although I feel better about Gomez at this point than I do with Lopez. Probably the real reason I went ahead and extended Lopez is because he has the defensive flexibility to play all the corner positions, first, third, left, and right. So the AI, that gives the AI flexibility to move him, wherever it feels it needs to move him. Schmidt and Hickey, although they both played in some significant games, they really didn't get much of a chance this year because I was committed to Williams. And I was glad to have Williams as a stable presence at second base for us. Hickey did great last year. Schmidt did great in some limited time, but Williams is the heir apparent, and he's going to be our second baseman in 2020. Duncan I already talked about. Hamilton was basically in, I was going to say he was in AAA all year, but you can see he did play in 41 games. I guess that was in the garbage time in September. 115 at bats, and he sucked. He completely sucked. He hit near 300 last year. Had a career year last year, which I was really glad to see. He basically made that trade for him worthwhile last year. He was fantastic. This year he fell off, and I'm going to hold on to him and see if he can come back for us for a good year next year.